Hi, I'm Mack. I'm a former TV reporter, a published author, TEDx speaker, musician, advertising agency owner, and management consultant. I'm also a former Christian preacher who dedicated 15 years of my life searching for truth and love. I've done a lot of work to heal, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Mack, and it's such an honor to have you listening. I ask you to continue to share this podcast, rate it, go give it a rating right after this episode, and mention your favorite episode, whatever platform you're listening on. I honor you. I'm thankful for you. This podcast is continuing to grow, and the reach is touching people all over the world. It's really cool to see the countries that are engaging, and I want to honor each and every one of you because you are part of this light emission, the light bearers of the earth, the great awakening to bring love and light to every soul so that every soul can choose clearly without manipulation or coercion, can choose clearly love, healing, freedom. Well, it's such an honor to have you on. This is going to be a short episode. I realize that I've been doing a whole bunch of solo episodes, and I appreciate you staying with me on this. This episode is going to be very quick. It's all about the sixth sense of man. You and I have six senses. We're taught in the matrix system that we only have five senses. And why would this be? Why is it that we're told we only have five? We're told to rely so heavily and to trust that which we can experience in the five senses, and yet we are loosely taught or barely taught all the other frequencies of light and sound that we cannot hear on the spectrums are also just as real as those which we can experience. Meaning, a dog can hear a pitch that you cannot hear. And when I lead men's retreats, one of the things we talk about is belief. Belief keeps us from the truth. I want you to hear this. And I've talked about this. Belief is a conjunction of be living. So we are to be living in all things and to explore all ideas and to play with this reality. When we say, I don't believe that, saying I'm not going to be living in that. And then when we declare such, we miss out on exploring, well, what is over there? And then we can say, yeah, I've experienced that, and here's what I got from that, versus I don't believe that, and I won't go down there. So at the men's retreats, when I'm breaking down the construct of beliefs, which are usually limiting beliefs, but even just a concept of belief, I play this really cool video, and it shows how old your ears are. And it starts off like a 16-year-old's ears, and everyone raises their hand. They can hear the pitch. And then it goes like 26, 36, 46, 56, something like that. And my hearing dropped off at 46 or something. I can't remember. I think it was 46. So most guys dropped off. I mean, only one person in the group could hear like a pitch that was well beyond his age. Maybe it started reverse. Anyway, my point is, it was fascinating that the one guy left could hear the pitch that none of us in the room could hear. Now, just because he could hear it and we could not, were we to say, no, that didn't exist? Of course not, because it exists. He heard it. It's the same when we're told we only have five senses, but then you get this premonition, you get this feeling, you're laying down and you get a sense that someone's looking at you, perhaps in your room, and you look over and, someone entered, I don't know that scenario, but you get what I'm saying. You know when someone's looking at you. What is that? Is that one of your five senses? No, that is a sixth sense. And people that can tap in and learn their sixth sense, just like they've learned their other five senses, are really walking in the fullness of what being a human truly is. Now, check this out. 6 is the number of man. Okay, 6 is the number of man. That's why man is buried 6 feet deep. In Genesis, man was created on the 6th day. The 6th book in the Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, is Joshua. It's the first book named after a man. Joshua has 6 letters. The 6th book in the New Testament is Romans. It also has 6 letters. There are 66 books in the Bible, 6 times 11, 11 being judgment. So it could be 11 times 6, judgment of man, or the liberation of man. We want to get into too much of 11, but the last minute for mankind. So 6 is the number of man. However, we're taught that we have 5 senses, stripping us of our full sovereign right as humanity. And when this happens, typically, especially in the religious circles, like I grew up in Christianity, where if someone starts hearing a word from the Lord and declaring it, people are like, oh, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. But outside that confine, if someone outside the church was saying, I hear a word from, I'm channeling, I'm getting downloads from the divine source or whatever, they would say that's unholy. So we have these divisions, but what both these people are is just tapping into the fullness of who they are, which is a 6th sense human being learning to experience something beyond these 5 senses. I share all this with you, my dear brothers and sisters, to know this. We are entering the 5D, the 5th density, the 5th dimension. The earth, the actual earth is evolving into the 5th density. Now 3D, 3 dimensions is mind, body, spirit. We're actually in right now 4D. 4D is incorporating light into the mind, body, and spirit. And in the light, everything gets exposed. Every single thing gets exposed in the light, which then strips away our excuses of, well, I didn't know. Well, that's not true, because when things get revealed, we chose not to know, but the fact that we did not know can no longer stand, because we either choose truth or we choose lies in 4D. And this is where separation takes place, is in 4D. And then we are entering into the 5th density, the 5th dimension, which incorporates love into the light, mind, body, and spirit experience or reality that we're going to find ourselves in. Now, according to Ra and the law of one, Ra says that our higher self resides in 6th density. So the 6th density, 6 being the number of man, this is why 6 senses is so important to understand, because the 6th density is wisdom. So think of this. 2 density is mind and body. It's matter. Okay. 3rd density is spirit, consciousness, awakening to the mind and body. Then you have light incorporating into the mind, body, and spirit. Everything is revealed. Then you have love, unconditional love. And what can you do with love and create with love and light in mind, body, and spirit? And then wisdom. The 6th dimension is wisdom. What to do with the love and light, mind, body, and spirit. And then the 7th density is desiring to be with the creator. And then the 8th density, the infinite dimension, is back to the one infinite creator, the most high God. So when you acknowledge your higher self, when you are in alignment with who you actually truly are, not from a Roman system to say you're a slave, you're a slug, you're slime, you're garbage, you're dirty. The only way to be clean is through our system. The only way to be clean is through submitting through these processes where so many terrible things take place. It's to stop and detach. Recognize that you are sovereign. Recognize that you know deep down there's always been something missing that you have been searching for. You know, if you're honest, there's always something. And the frustration that many men, I work with a lot of men, The frustration that many men have of just that they get angry, they blow up, they explode, or they isolate and they go into media or video games or alcohol or whatever. It's because they're so far removed from knowing something was missing, but they just didn't have the opportunity in a safe space to explore what was missing. So they've gone deeper down this path of pain, isolation, rejection, which has led to 79% of all suicides in the United States prior to 2020 were men. Sadly, 8 out of 10. So I share all this to say that in the sixth density, our higher self resides, which is why 6 is the number of man. So you can have access to this right now. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit of effort, which what good thing doesn't? And then it's to detach from the media frequencies, the low vibrational frequencies of fear, confusion, hate, division, accusation, rejection, trauma, confusion, sexual trauma, sexual impurities that were brought to you, all the dirtiness, all the things that you don't want to talk about. It's time to look at them, detach from them, and then come back to what were you prior to entering the womb? And then when you entered the womb, some experienced trauma. I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, was born breached, born basically dead. They tried to revive, they resuscitated me. There was a lot of trauma even before I entered this earth. Some did, some didn't. Whatever happened, we came in as pure souls into these bodies. And then what happens is the human experience, school, the earth school, creates all this trauma, confusion, hurt, rejection, all these things that separate us further and further and further from the sixth density knowing of wisdom, the higher self, of what to do on this earth, which is to receive love from the infinite creator, that we may give love to every single person on planet earth and become liberators of souls, not to indict or judge, but to liberate and free, to put an arm and hand out to someone and say, it's okay, I have you. Let's walk this together. But in fear and division, in the third 3D experience with polarities, people will judge. There will be fear. Now, I've had some people comment on some of the content that I posted recently of where we go one, we go all, don't all souls go back together. All souls do go back to the infinite source. They do. They go back to the Most High God. In fact, even in Revelation, it says that death and hell are cast in the lake of fire. Well, it says in Hebrews that our God is a consuming fire. So that lake is actually God himself, bringing all souls, bringing everything back into himself. Now, that fire isn't judgment. That fire is purification. The fire is purification, and every lake has an inlet and an outlet. And for sure it has an inlet or it evaporates, but lakes are fresh. Lakes are always fresh. So that lake of fire is actually us all, everything that did not choose love and light, to go back to God and understand the love of God and to purify us from that pain. So what happens in the 4D is where you start to see a separation, and it's not of judgment. It's understanding that God, who is love, will give every single person, because love means to give. Love will give every single person, every single soul, exactly what they chose. Some will choose to step into the love and light. Some who are still held on to fear so tightly, or confused or angry, or perpetrators in the light, will shun the light. And when they shun the light and the separation takes place, the great solar flash or the rapture, or all these different spiritual teachings or different paths talk about the same thing, the age of the Mashiach. What happens is the people who reject the love and light will have to continue a 3D experience, because in 3D, in the polarity, is when we get to break out of that polarity and choose love and light. So they will experience a world in 3D that will be absent of all those who chose love and light, which will be hell on earth. However, it will not be the hell that has been historically taught by Rome to keep people slaves and in fear of God. What will happen is they will then awaken every soul awaken and choose love and light and will return back to the source. That's why there's nothing to fear. That's why Paul said in the New Testament, to live is Christ and to die is gain. Christ meaning Messiah, meaning deliverer, meaning one who brings freedom. So to live is freedom and to die is gain, meaning you can strike this physical body down, but we will only become greater light bodies. That's why Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm taking all these references, but just stay with me. That's why Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Darth Vader, strike me down, Darth, and I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine. These physical bodies are not our finality. This is just an experience that we get to have in the third density. And as we are in fourth density right now, where light is revealing everything, people are waking up to the 800,000 children go missing in the United States every year, the human trafficking, the child trafficking, the Hollywood and all the pedophilia, the California legalizing pedophilia as long as it's under consent within 10 years. I mean, the most vile things are getting revealed in the light. Who are the players that create the world that we are in? Why do people just give an excuse like, well, that's what priests do and just like no big deal and just keep going? I mean, everything's getting revealed in this time so that people can choose under the law of free will. There's no coercion. It's just you get to freely choose. And I know those who listen to this podcast are choosing love and light. And I also don't want there to be any confusion. Everyone is unconditionally loved, every single one. Even those who choose darkness, because they create the polarity for us to choose love and light. All things work as they should. This is the craziest thing. Being someone who is severely abused in every category made me the person I am. Had I not gone through that, maybe I don't know, be happy working in a cubicle. I don't know, but all things are the way they should be, that we can awaken to who we truly are, which is a sixth sense being full of love and light, to awaken others, to love others. And we are entering the fifth dimension, the fifth density, and it is going to be glorious. And even that will not be our final home, because we'll continue to learn and go into wisdom, and from wisdom to go into seventh, which is the perfected state of wanting to be back in oneness with the Creator. So everything's good, my brothers and sisters, and I honor your path. I honor your journey. And I thank you for listening to this podcast, following me on this journey. And I ask you to continue to share, to rate it, to give it a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, give thumbs up. It helps the algorithm know that this content is of high value to people. So thank you for supporting me. If you are looking for support, if you're feeling stuck, if you still have fear, if you're afraid to even go back and look at some of those key memories of your early childhood, the times where you were abused or hurt, or you're not sure, or you're still in this entanglement with your parents and you're an adult and you're acting still like a child, or whatever it is, if you're not free, go to my website, fill out the form, reach out to me. As a coach, I'm telling you, I've gone through this with myself, gone into the darkness, and I help people go there and look at it and go through these steps to free themselves so that they can be a liberated soul that liberates other souls. So I honor you on your journey. I thank you, brothers and sisters. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.